Rest of you guys, it's Brian here. Just gonna make a video. It's another video. We're just gonna talk about schools and how I think schools need to be fixed. I'm making this video in honor of, for a lot of kids in the state of Pennsylvania, a lot of kids across the country as well. Today's the first day back to school, to all the students, I hope you're enjoying your classes so far, and I hope you're in some of your friends' classes. To all your teachers, I hope you're also enjoying your students so far, and good luck in your school years, no matter what grade you're in, or even if you're in college, good luck. Professors, good luck to teaching. So I hope you enjoy your school years. Alright, guys, so, public education. Education in general in this country. There's a number of loopholes with it. We used to be one of the top educating countries in the world. But there's a lot of, stuff with it. Like, a lot of problems. So, just to talk about some of these problems. First, we're going to talk about some of the problems, and then we're going to talk about how I think they should be fixed. Because it's quite simple, actually. So some of the problems, you have kids. So, there's a number of issues in school. One, right now, you have a huge teacher shortage. Not just teachers, but you have a shortage of instructional assistants and secretaries and principals and, like, therapists and counselors and stuff, and even lunch ladies and custodians. It's a huge shortage because no one wants to work in a school. That's one of the things that's going on. You have kids bringing in marijuana, other drugs, pills, vape pens, cigarettes rarely. I don't think they're as popular as they used to be. You also have dress codes not being listened. You have kids downright being disrespectful and refusing to listen to staff. If you have a number of issues of dress codes not being followed. You have the issues of a lot of schools in this country are severely underfunded, so they can't get the proper or things for the building proper supplies. You have a lot of schools that are relying on technology way too much. You have a lot of schools where there's a lot of teachers and a lot of staff members that are just being downright lazy, not doing their jobs. There's many schools in this country, in fact, majority of public schools, that instead of the parents and the guardians controlling the school boards and the principals, the teachers' unions do. And another thing, you have the lack of discipline from principals. Principals do not want to discipline the students. They also they don't want to discipline the students. They also don't want to discipline any staff member. And it's huge problems. You put all these problems together. How do we solve them? All right, let's get into each and every problem. Let's start with my favorite one, with one of the most important ones, your teacher and staff shortage. So, you have a shortage. It's mainly of teachers, but there's also a shortage, like I said, of instructional assistants, receptionists, custodians, lunch ladies, therapists, counselors. So, how you fix that is simple. You raise their pay all across this country. You raise it. You stop. Yeah, luckily in my area, in Montgomery County, like the Springfield and Phoenix school districts, teachers make pretty good money. Not like, I'm Mark Cuban, but like they make pretty good money. They get pretty good benefits in this area. But this is one area. There's a lot of areas across this country where teachers go to school for 4 or 5 years, get their certification, get their master's degrees, and they're only making $50,000 a year. That's how much they're making in this area. There's a lot where they're making $30,000. A teacher should get paid a minimum of $80,000 a year. I know that's going to be like, Brian, that's way too much money. How are they going to do that? Let me tell you something. How you do that is, you just raise their money. You just raise their pay. You've got enough money, raise their pay. Yeah, that if you raise the teachers' pays and you give them better benefits, they'd want to teach. Because right now, there's a lot of areas in this country where you can go to a grocery store or a fast food chain or a restaurant and make more money there than going to college for 4 years and becoming a teacher. There's a lot of parts in this country, Arizona and Georgia included, and that is becoming like that. So that's the first way to address your teacher and staff shortage. Pay them more, give them better benefits. And another way to fix problems is schools need more fundings. There's a number of schools that need renovated. They need additions put onto them. There's a lot of buildings that you need a brand new building. Start doing that for the schools. Give them better learning environments. Another thing you need to do is you need to slow down technology in schools on a number of levels. So, one, and students should not be allowed to have their phones. They should have to keep their phones in the locker. Or so should teachers. Teachers should have to put their phones in the break room. They should not be allowed to have their phones. None of that. And then when it comes to the learning part, students should not have Chromebooks unless you have a learning disability. A regular student should not have a Chromebook. There should not be a smart board or a Promethean board or a TV in the classroom. It should be taken down. You can have a rolling projector or a rolling TV for if a teacher wants to show a movie or something after they get permission from the principal. But it's just ridiculous. Teachers are relying too much on technology, and for the students' part, we watch TV at home. We're on our phones constantly. We on Snapchat and Instagram and on laptops, tablets, all that. Technology is too much. So we need to stop using smartboards, go back to using chalkboards, whiteboards, pencil and paper. That's what needs to happen. Now, the next thing that needs to happen is discipline. In schools, there needs to be discipline. You know, if it's not a teacher's job to discipline, it's a teacher's job to teach. Let me address that real fast, quick. So you have a lot of teachers that are trying to teach, and I feel for them. They're trying to teach, they're trying to run a classroom, but they're also having to be disciplinarians. They're having to be a parent. They're having to be a therapist. This is just too much. Hire people to do the discipline in the school. Make the principals do that again. Make them get out of their offices for once during the day. So make the principals do that again. Get counselors and therapists so they can talk to them instead of, oh, we're busy. Yeah, there should not be 2 counselors in a grade or whatever. There should be at least 10, depending on what size of the school. But yeah, so that's a way to do that. Let the teachers teach. They should not be having to do multiple jobs. So back to what I was saying. Discipline. Discipline on all levels needs to be enforced. And it's the principal's job to do that. Discipline needs to be enforced. If you guys can see on my computer screen here, I have a picture of Joe Clark. Joe Clark came into a school where discipline was not enforced amongst students or staff. He came in and enforced it. It's now one of the top schools in the country, Eastside High. There's a book, Lean on Me, and a movie, Lean on Me. I suggest reading and watching the movie. They are very good. But yeah. So the Joe Clark method needs to be re-implemented back into schools. We need to include discipline. Not just for students. If a student's being bad or not following the rules, they need to be punished. Lunch detentions, after-school detentions, in-school suspensions, and yeah, stuff like that. A good stern talking to. Stuff like that, punishments. Maybe getting kicked off the football team or whatever they do. Stuff like that. Punishments. That's what needs to be put back in place. Not just for students, for staff members too. For staff members, there needs to be discipline. You have a lot of teachers that just don't want to teach. You have a lot of teachers that are and staff members that are being downright rude to students and rude to other staff members. They need to have discipline put on them too. There needs to be a principal. I'm not for fascism at all. But in schools I am. The principal needs to lay down the law, the head principal, to the assistant principals, all the students, all the teachers, all the instructional assistants, all the therapists, counselors, secretaries, receptionists, lunch ladies, that there is one boss and it is me. And they need to follow that. So all staff members need to start getting discipline too. So another thing is the Joe Clark method does need to be implemented, like I said. But another thing is school choice. A lot of people think school choice is public funds going to public schools. Yes, it is. But it should also be for other public schools. I live in the Springfield area school district, but if a kid that lives in the Phoenixville area school district, their parents want them to go to Springfield, they should be able to do that. Or if their parents want them to go to private school, they should do that. They're paying it in taxes, so they should be able to do that. And so that's another way. School choice is another way to implement change. And then finally, we need to stop. We need to unshackle these teachers unions. They are public. If a private school can, they can do that. But in public schools, they should not be allowed to unionize. These teachers unions have too much of a grip on these school board members, on these principals and teachers, where it's affecting the students. The parents and the guardians should control the school boards. Now, yes, I'm one of them people that says, alright, there's a certain time and a certain place where you need to let the people that have been doing this for years, let the people with their certifications do their jobs. I'm all for that. I'm not for these parents that go into these school board meetings and go crazy and stuff like that, these Karens and all that. No offense to people that's called Karen, but I'm not for that at all. I'm for common sense, anytime there's a discipline, the principal should have to tell the parent and explain it. But the parents should be giving advice and controlling the school boards, not teachers' unions. And like I said, there is a certain time and place where a parent can't be going to every school board meeting threatening to sue. They need to let the teachers and principals do their jobs. So there is a certain place you need to let the people with the certifications and let the people that have went to school for this do their jobs. But there also is a time and a place when they need to listen to the parent and guardian, because the parent or guardian ultimately knows what's best for them. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. That's my plan. That would be how I would fix public education. Oh, one more thing. We need to get rid of the federal Department of Education and get rid of any federal laws in education. There should be some federal laws, some federal expectations, but the education should really be a local thing. It should be school to school, town to town. That's what it should be. It should not be a federal thing. Alright guys, that's it. That's my plan for school. Go check out the movie Lean on Me. Read Joe Clark's story. It's an amazing story. Hey, alright guys, yeah, that's it. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like this video, leave a comment, and, about what you think about public school, and subscribe for more, guys. Please, alright guys, have a nice day.